Good morning, my friends. Welcome to our New Testament challenge. Today, I'll be sharing our devotional, my thoughts on the 8th chapter of Matthew for Tuesday, September 8th. If you have not started our challenge yet, you can start anytime. The videos and everything is on our website and on our YouTube channel. So I hope that this has been a blessing to you. As it has to me. It's allowed me to really go back and reread and think about God's Word from the very beginning, of Matthew, and we're going to continue all the way through Revelation. So today, focusing on the 8th chapter of Matthew. Now, this is kind of interesting. He's just recently begun his public ministry. He's baptized, and then he started going out and doing some things. He just finished up the 3 chapters of the Sermon on the Mount, where he does a lot of his teaching. And here in chapter 8, it's more about what he does. It is healing. There's the man with leprosy, the faith of the centurion. He calms the storm. He heals the 2 demon-possessed men, and he talks about. But here's the interesting thing I want to lift up today, is that in the midst of all this healing, in the midst of the actions, there is always some sort of teaching. Jesus uses the actions to teach a lesson, to tell us, to remind us about something. Nothing is ever done solely for one purpose only. Everything that is done, everything that is said, everything that is taught, every healing that takes place, there is something more that Jesus wants to hear from us. When he talks about the man with leprosy, the man comes and says, "Lord, if you're willing," and Jesus appreciates that faith, and he says, "I am willing." Oftentimes. There's a demand when we go to God in prayer. Lord, do this, do this, do this. I love the way the leper comes, and so the man with leprosy comes up and says, "Lord, if you are willing, will you do this?" And then the next one, the lesson that we get from the centurion. Now, the centurion was a Roman soldier, was not Jewish, had come to Jesus, had seen the man, and said, "Hey, I've got a servant, not even a family member. I've got a servant of mine who is sick, and can you come and heal him?" Well, Jesus is here. That's what he's about. He's about healing. He said, "Yeah, I'll come." And then here's where it gets interesting. The centurion says to Jesus, "Hey, listen. I know what it means to lead people. I know what it means to be a person of my word. I know what it means when I have the authority." Because of my position, I can say to someone, "Do this and do that," and they will go, and they will do it. They will complete what I say. He says, "I understand authority," and he says, "I understand your authority, Jesus. And if all you have to do, you don't even have to come." He says, "I believe you have the authority. All you have to do is say that my servant is healed, and I believe it will happen." And Jesus is like, "Wow. What faith. This is incredible." He says, and think about it for us today. Do we believe Jesus will do what he says he will do? Let's be honest there. We say there are all sorts of promises in the Old and the New Testament, things that Jesus has promised. And he says, "Where 2 or 3 are gathered, I am there with you." Do we believe Jesus is with us? And he makes all these promises. Do we believe that? And if we do we assume that God will keep his promises? And do we live our lives in such a way that God's word, we act as if God's word is going to come true? There's a way of doing this. How you act in uncertain times shows what you believe in. If you're like, "Okay, I'm going to get up and it's going to be a long day, but, I know that when I'm through, I can go home, I can sit in my chair, I can relax. I know that. I have confidence in that. And so I can push hard. I can do what I need to do with the realization, with the truth lying in the future that there is a place for me to go and relax and to let my guard down. And so the centurion says to Jesus, I have this authority. I know, I believe you will do what you say. You don't even have to show up. If you just say the word, Jesus, I know what will happen. And Jesus was amazed at this man's faith and lifted him up. And it's something to remember for us, the faith that the centurion has. And so what kind of faith do you have? Do you believe that God answers his, fulfills his promises, that God answers his prayers, that God responds to your requests? Do you believe it? That's the question. There are times for doubt and times we wonder, but do we live our lives in such a way that it points to the authority that we find in Jesus? And it points to the one who has the authority, has the power, has the wisdom to do the things that we need done. Do we live like that? And that's the question for us today as we continue reading the Gospel of Matthew. Thanks a lot, my friends. We'll talk to you tomorrow.